marriages go straight to hell. Oh yeah! It's kind of funny, it leads to us, oh yeah! You never know what we'll discuss, well no!
Hello and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to It's Kind of Funny podcast. Today I reach back in time to when I was 19 years old and recorded a podcast. Well, it's a fake radio show that we would record on cassette tape. Me and my buddy Dave Meyer. Don't know if he wants his last name known, but oh well. He's a friend of mine. So Dave Meyer and I, we knew each other all through school. We both flunked 7th grade, and from just not doing any good, not doing my homework, riding bicycles instead of doing homework. And then in like 8th grade, we started hanging out more, and just became friends. You know, we were always friends, but then we just hung out all the time at his house. Well, more, not necessarily during 8th grade. In high school then, we started hanging out a lot. Like, so we knew each other. We started growing our friendship. Our junior year of high school, we were like just always at each other's house and everything. So that was like in 87, 88. And because I graduated in 90, supposed to graduate in 89. So graduated in 90, and so we would hang out and be silly. My cousin said he'd hang out with us and really enjoyed, just wanted to just be part of the group because we were just always laughing and being fun and just had no cares and no worries. And we had gotten a job in like 89 at the drive-in movie theater. But before this, we had all kinds of free time, and we'd started one day saying, hey, let's record a fake radio show or something, because we like this show on a rock station here in Phoenix. And we said, hey, why don't we do a radio show? And I said, or we said, whoever thought of it, was, why don't we call it 69 USUK, like USUK are the letters. And so we said, okay. So we started recording the show, and it was just silly stuff. And we just do it pretty much for us. When you think about it, it's retarded, because we weren't giving it out to people. Like now you do your podcast and it's out there and people can grab it and listen to it if they want, or they don't have to. Anyway, we would just do the tapes and we'd listen to them to ourselves in the car or whatever. Or maybe we made one once for a friend of ours named Tammy, and she was like, oh, okay, thanks. You know, that's cool. But I don't even know if she listened to it. I think we gave it to her. I don't even know if she listened or if we listened to it with her. I'm sure it was weird because we like kind of had a crush on her, but Dave like had a girlfriend or just got a girlfriend. So it's just weird for a girl to just be, here you go. And she's like, okay, these guys dedicate a whole show to me and they're talking to me on this tape. It's weird. But I guess if you knew us, you knew that it was weird. You knew that that's what we were. We were just weird. So we, one day we did, well, I got some notes written down here. So in 1989 was when we started recording this fake radio show. It was about then. And then we would travel to meet a friend of ours in like 1990. A friend of ours named Tia. She moved to Tucson because she was going to U of A. So she was like, hey, can you guys, you want to come and see me? Or we called her, whatever it was, and we said, we're going to come and see you. So she said, okay. She was stressed out and kind of just miserable and lonely. She didn't have her family or friends there. So we were like, okay. So we drove out there and picked her up, and we went to a place called Old Tucson to film movies, where they used to film movies, and just hung out with her. And she laughed, and it relieved her stress. She said it was like a stress reliever. And Dave and I then we had just seen the movie in like 89, Air America came out. Dave and I felt like we were those guys. Him and I were like, he was Mel Gibson and I was Robert Downey Jr., and we just didn't give a shit. And we were, the only thing that was missing is a pilot's license and a plane. So we said, let's call ourselves Air Phlave for Phil and Dave, because Air Dillip sounds weird. We said, let's call it Air Phlave, and we'll be, and Dave even made on the computer some fake cards that were Air Phlave Stress Busters and Air Phlave TPing. So we would go TP people's houses. We'd give the cards out. If you wanted somebody's house TP'd, we'd do it. Or we'd fold 50 paper airplanes and throw in their yard just to fuck with them. Or we could hang out with you and relieve your stress because we're goofy. So after hanging out with her the first time, we said, let's make her a tape. Like, I think that'd be fun. One of our 69 USUKs, we'll make it for her. So he said, okay, cool, let's do that. So we did, and we went ahead and made that for her. And that was she has it written down for the date of June 7th, 1991 is when we made her that tape. And so we did like a full-on, like both sides of the cassette. And we put in music to this one. Usually we didn't do music much, but Dave said, let's throw music in there so she got some music to listen to and she can laugh. So we said, okay, cool. So we did this, and we didn't really have a script. We would just hit record on the cassette player in Dave's room, and we'd record. So it was fun. So I'm going to play you right now the beginning of the tape of our intro, and then I'll come back on and talk you through it, the rest of it. I'm not playing the whole thing, and of course not playing the music. So here's the tape now.
This is Phil.
And this is Dave.
And we're rocking to you from 69 You Suck.
Phil, wasn't that awesome?
That was too cool.
See, we
awesome.
kind of stole that from somebody, but
Yeah.
we won't say it was Rob Drake.
It was Rob Drake.
So, we made it up ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, we're back once again with another great show from 69. You Suck. Anyway, we're here to rock and roll the house. Anybody? There was a call-in for Billy Squire today. Did you hear the phone ring?
I heard.
We fixed it from our last one.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play that for you right now.
From Michael, Zimbabwe, here is Billy Squire.
So there you go. It's just a little silliness. I'm sure all of you are like, who gives a fuck? But I find it funny. And not really funny, hilarious, but funny because it seems like just yesterday that we recorded that. I can take myself back to that room. I know where I was sitting, where he was sitting. We had the tape player sitting next to us, and we were just talking out loud, and it would record. That's why the recording is kind of horrible. Plus, because I took it from a tape to digital and made it MP3, so that's where that came from. Other than that, though, that was the beginning, and then we played some music, and then we had a movie segment that we did. It was called Movie Corner, and Dave came up with that name. And we were going to do trailers of movies that hadn't come out yet. So, like I said, understand that this is in 1991. So some of these movies that you're going to hear have had trailers or had sequels, and some did not. So it was just kind of funny that we just made up silly things like on the fly. Like we would hit, stop after the first commercial or trailer, and then we would think of something else for the next one, or maybe we had 3 laid out and we'd think of one. So as you can tell, it goes through certain ones, then it stops, then it comes back, and we add some more into it. So now I'll play you some of Movie Corner just to let you know, before there was podcasting, there were 2 guys in a bedroom recording on a cassette player a radio show that nobody listened to. So, but we made it for a friend, and that was what was important. So here is the Movie Corner from 69 USUK from 1991. Hey everyone, sorry about that. I wanted to tell you that this is going to start the movie review. It's going to have about a minute and a half of some music while we're talking, and it's hard to hear us talking, but the music cuts off after a minute and a half. And you're going to hear some greats like Total Recall 2, Batman 2, and yet another 48 Hours, Back to the Future 4, Robocop 3, Predator 3, Beetlejuice 2, Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure 3, Arachnophobia 2, Miami Blues 2, James Bond Silvertoe, and Die Hard 4 Back for More, and Ford Fairlane 2, The Awesome Rock'n Roll Junky. So, some are hits, some are misses, but please bear with me. It's all fun.
Another kick-ass tune.
That was
I
awesome.
haven't heard that for a long time.
Me neither.
Guess what?
What?
What time is it?
It's
No, Phil, watch your watch.
It's
Stupid.
12:27, Dave.
No, watch your watch. What time is it now on the
Oh,
show?
It's movie corner time.
Movie corner time with Dave and
And
Phil.
Phil.
Dave and Phil.
Dave and Phil.
Right. Okay, so here comes Movie Corner.
Hello and welcome to Movie Corner. This is Phil.
And this is Dave.
And we're rocking to you from Movie Corner.
Movie Corner, yep. You like our background music? Sure, it's awesome, isn't it? Okay, what movies are we going to preview today, Phil?
Previews Total Recall 2, Batman 2, Joker's Revenge,
Batman 2, Joker's Revenge.
yet
You
another
can't-
48 hours.
I'll read for him since you can't read. Yeah, yet another 48 hours. Back to the Future 4, Salem Revisited.
Ooh, sounds good.
Robocop 3, batteries not included.
Ooh,
There's, I think that's a winner. Yeah. Predator 3, Underground. I don't know about that one.
Got a question.
Gotta itch my chin for that.
Yeah, me too.
Beetlejuice 2, more juice.
Ooh.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
It's getting a little wet.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure 3, Pyromania.
Oh, that's awesome. For
That'll
you
spark
rockers out there.
And that'll spark your light. Yeah. Ooh, Arachnophobia 2, The Spawning. The first one scared the shit out of me. How about
Yeah,
you?
me too.
That's
I
why there's a
jumped
big mess on the floor.
2 feet.
Yeah, 2 feet. The last movie we're going to preview today is Miami Blues 2, The Monopoly. Okay, Phil, so let's stop our background music here. So, which movie would you like to do first?
First movie is Total Recall.
Total. In the first one, he had a brain implant of a Mars vacation. He loved it. It psyched him out. And now he's addicted.
I want another brain implant and I want it now. Now, give it to me. I'm addicted. I want more.
Stay tuned for Total Recall 2. Gonna be an awesome movie. Whoa, Phil.
That sounded
Ooh.
cool.
Oh man, Arnold Schwarzenegger sure does sound bound and determined in that one.
Yeah.
Well, what next? What do you give that?
I give that, just nachos, just the chips.
Just the chips?
Nacho chips, yeah.
Yeah, well, I give it the nachos and the jalapenos without the cheese. No drink, just suffer. Okay? Well,
Okay.
all right. What? Batman 2, Joker's Revenge. Here it comes right now. In the first one, he was tough. In the second one, it's the Joker's turn.
I'm Batman. I don't care.
I don't know about that one, Phil. What do you think?
I don't really
I don't think that was gonna be too good.
Mm-mm. I just give that an empty bowl of nachos, not because I ate them, just because I tripped and they dropped.
I give him the nachos without the plate.
That's good.
That's a good one. Okay, well that was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's time for another 48 hours. Don't go see Batman 2.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
No. The
Yet-
first one was dumb. Don't
Yet
see it.
another 48 hours is coming up. And let's see here.
Mhm.
Sounds like it's going to be a pretty good movie. You know?
Yeah, because the first one was good. The second one was good.
So the third one must be even better.
Must be even better.
Okay.
Yet better.
Yet another 48 hours with Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy. Say, Reggie, you're going to help me again, aren't you?
Say, you want me to go out with you for another 48 hours?
Yeah.
I went out with you for, let me see, 48, that's 96 hours plus another 48. That's like 125 seconds. That's, oh man, what do you hit me for and everything?
Shut up.
Oh,
Just shut the fuck up and come with me.
okay, I'll do it this time. Not doing it again, because you pissed me off.
Another 48 hours coming to a theater near you. I don't know, Phil, what do you think?
Sounds kind of good. Better than Batman 2.
Yeah, better than Batman 2. Let's see. Back to the Future 4 is our next review. Well, what do you give back? What do you give yet another 48 hours for
I give that a bowl of nachos with cheese.
I just give it the cheese in the bowl. No nacho. It was all right. Back to the Future 4.
Ooh.
Salem Revisited.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Well, that was a special order, so we have to go look for that tape of the what they ordered.
Yeah.
Order.
So here it is. Hold on, and a couple shakes of a lamb dunk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
3.
Okay, well, we found that special order.
I found it.
Phil found it.
Yeah.
So there's some background music to be played with it, and we'll start that.
And it's starting, and it's playing. We just got, oh, there it goes.
There it goes. Okay, here comes the commercial.
Yeah.
Back to the Future 4. It all happened one day. Part 1, I can't remember. Part 2, confusing. Part 3, I didn't even see it. Part 4, I have no idea what it's about. Just listen to the commercial.
Doc, we're in Salem. How did we get here?
Salem? How did we get in Salem? Salem where? Massachusetts?
Massachusetts.
What year is this?
I don't know, 16 something.
Oh, dude, the witch trials.
Oh no, where's my girlfriend? She's not here.
Where is she?
Look on the tree.
You gotta hang her.
Oh my god.
We gotta go save her.
Oh, it's too late, Doc.
Back to the Future 4. Salem Revisited. It'll rip your head off. What do you think, Phil?
That was it seemed kind of sad, you know.
Yeah. I had a tear in my eye.
I did too.
I was trying to get it out. The next movie, Robocop 3. Batteries not included.
Ooh.
Yeah, we didn't steal that name from Steven Spielberg movie, really.
No.
Oh, actually, we didn't really think about it until after we wrote it down, so it's not stealing it because it's
Because we had this written down way before his movie.
3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh. And here comes Robocop
3.
3 right now. Robocop 3. Batteries not included. Murphy, what's wrong?
My batteries are running out. Oh.
Well, Murphy, on your back here, it says batteries not included.
Oh, shit.
Back to Robocop 3. Batteries not included. What do you think about that one, Phil?
That was
This
good.
damn music.
I hate turn it on.
No doubt. Anyway, so how'd you like that movie?
Didn't
sound too interesting.
Number 2 is better.
I never saw part 2. I've only seen the first one. The next one, Predator 3. Oh, hold on. What do you? Oh, we never rated Back to the Future 4. Hey, I give that a full bowl of nachos.
Me too. Now
With jalapenos.
Extra jalapenos.
Large
on the
drink and a
side,
big
yeah.
bucket of popcorn.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
Jeez, maybe even throw in a hot dog.
Oh yeah.
For the next one, what? Predator 3.
Yeah.
Underground.
Underground.
I don't know. First one was good.
Mhm.
Second one hasn't come out, but
they come out with number 3 already.
Yeah.
Just like they did with Back to the Futures
Yeah. Back to the Futures
movies.
movies too.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any special music to play for Predator? No. We don't have
Not
any.
really.
Good.
Unless I could play some music for you while you talk.
Yeah, sure. That'd be loud. That'd be funny. Okay. Okay, shut up, Phil.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here we go with the movie.
The first Predator was in the jungle. The second one is in the city. The third one is going to be underground.
Shit! It's dark in here. I can't see. Is that a predator?
No, Billy, it's me.
Oh shit! Dude, I'm sorry. You're dead. Oh.
Predator 3, coming to a theater near you in 1991.
Oh, Phil.
Ooh, that sounded good.
That sounded good.
Oh, yeah.
In the dark. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to get some infrared.
I guess
Infrared or
so.
some, some
That
kind
guy should have had some before he shot his friend.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you rate that?
Oh, shit. That was a good one. Full bowl of nachos with a small drink.
Yeah, me too. Full bowl of nachos with a medium drink.
Medium. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Going up one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Beetlejuice 2. More juice.
Ooh.
Okay, and here's the commercial. Beetlejuice 2. More juice. The first one was good. The second one.
Hey, stop screaming at me. Hey!
Beetlejuice 2. More juice. I don't know. That sounds like kind
it
of
wasn't a big
interesting.
commercial. You know?
It was short.
I give those advertisers a big thumbs down.
Yeah.
But I give the movie just a bowl of plain nachos.
Yeah, I get both
With one
plain
chip
nachos
missing.
with 2 jalapenos. That is okay. The next one, surprise hit of the summer, most likely.
Probably.
Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure 3, Pyromania.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure, Part 3, Pyromania. The first one took you through the water slides of San Dimas and all over time. The second one brought you dead frogs. The third one will set you on fire.
I want to know which one of you started the fire.
Dude, I didn't start the
I didn't
fire.
start either. Did you start it, Ted?
No, I think it was you, Bill.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't
Ted.
me, man.
Oh,
Fag. Fag.
screw you.
Dumbass.
I just want to know who started the fire. Okay, then. You boys have a nice day.
Oh, gee, like, thanks,
we
officer.
will. Thank you most excellently.
Guy thinks we didn't start the fire.
Yeah,
man.
what a jerk.
What a jerk. Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure 3, Pyromania, coming to a theater near you, if it's not burnt down. Ooh,
That one.
sounds like a good
Sounds
one.
very good.
I give
yeah.
that full nachos and large Diet Coke.
Oh, really?
With
I
a
give,
napkin.
I give that full nachos with a big jumbo drink and a trash can full of popcorn, and then another extra drink, and then extra jalapenos.
That much, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Phil overrated the movie or not.
Oh yeah, we'll see.
Next. Oh, well, go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We'll start the commercial now.
And now, Arachnophobia 2, The Spawning. The first one was arachnophobia. The definition for arachnophobia is fear of spiders. The second one is Arachnophobia 2, The Spawning. Definition for that is, I don't know, because the movie hasn't come out yet. Here's a clip from that scene.
Spiders! Ah!
My God, he died. So you stay tuned for Arachnophobia 2, The Spawning.
Phil,
Ooh, that one sounded
that,
good.
I felt like I had spiders all over me when I heard that.
Ooh, get my... Oh,
Yes,
yes,
well,
spiders.
go ahead and, you go ahead and rate that. See, how do you rate that?
I rate that nachos with a large Coke.
Okay, I'll give it nachos with a large Coke and extra jalapenos. Okay, now next, we're almost getting through. We added a couple more movies. Yeah, a couple more movies. James Bond, Silvertoe, Die Hard 4, Back for More. Those are the last. There's 3 movies left. Those 2 and Miami Blues. Miami Blues Part 2, The Monopoly. If you didn't catch the first one,
You missed a lot.
you missed a lot. That's all we could say. Okay, so here's Miami Blues 2. Miami Blues 2, The Monopoly. The first one, he did lots of things. And if you didn't see it, that's too bad. The second one, he'll do lots more.
How much for the speedboat, man?
The speedboat cost you lots of money, $50,000.
50,000? Wrap it up. Here's the money.
This is Monopoly money. This is not real money.
No, it's Canadian money.
Canadian money. No, this is Monopoly money.
Yes, it's Canadian money. Why don't you go in your office and you check there?
Okay, I'll go check.
Killed him. Now take my speedboat.
Miami Blues 2, The Monopoly. Don't miss it, or it'll miss you. Phil,
That was
that
good.
sounds like.
Yeah.
Go ahead and rate that puppy if you dare.
Nachos with cheese and jalapenos and a medium drink.
Well, I'll give a full nachos and a super medium drink, which is bigger than a medium drink.
I see.
There's not too many places that sell those.
I guess not.
Okay. Oh, the next one. Oh, new James Bond movie coming out called James Bond Silvertoe. Anyway, okay.
It's the sequel to Goldfinger.
It's a sequel to Goldfinger.
James Bond, Silvertoe. No, I don't think so, Silvertoe. I'm taking you in now. I'm taking you in alive, not dead. No way, man. You will not take me in dead. You will not take me in alive. You will not take me in at all. Well, then I guess I'll have to take you in dead. My name is James Bond. Please come and see my movie. Oh, that one was good.
Oh,
That was
did you even hear that was that background music?
That was cool back
Fucking
then.
hear
I
it.
love that James Bond music.
Me too.
So awesome.
Dude, that like sent shivers up my back and stuff.
Mine too.
Dude, like it's a fucking radical movie. I'll rate it first.
Okay.
I give it full bowl of nachos, extra jalapenos, extra cheese, super jumbo Coke, small popcorn.
I give it a little small bowl of nachos with trash can full of pop and a trash can full of popcorn because I like popcorn.
Good.
Or soda.
We have one movie left.
2 movies.
Two. Oh, two. We added another one. Ford Fairlane
2.
2.
The Awesome Rock'n Roll Junky.
Yep. Okay, but right now it's Die Hard 4. Back for more. Ooh.
The first one blew you out of the back of the theater. The second one blew you out of your seat. The third one just blew you. And the fourth one will just blow you twice. 'Cause John McClane is back in the Nakatomi building, but this time he's there for lunch. Well, what are those people doing over there? Hey, Billy, what are those people over there?
What
They
are
look like
those-
cannibals, don't they?
Cannibal.
Let's eat him now! Let's eat him now! Like I said, John McClane was there for lunch.
Oh, that sounds like a good. I get it. There for lunch. He's gonna be eaten. Damn, that's awesome. I didn't know guys could be eaten as well as girls. Anyway, I'll rate that. Hey,
Okay.
that's a good one. A trash can full of popcorn, trash can full of pop, super bag of nachos with lots of cheese and extra jalapenos.
Ooh, I give that. You take the trash can, you take the lid off, you fill the lid full of nachos and cheese and extra jalapenos. Then you take the trash can and you pour Coke in it and you fill it to the top. And you take another trash can and you fill it with popcorn and butter and salt and everything. And it's just real good. That's what I give it.
Good ratings we give.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Ford Fairlane 2, the Awesome Rock'n Roll Junky.
Ooh, the first one was good. I wonder if the second one will be really good.
Yeah. Ford Fairlane 2, the Awesome Rock'n Roll Junky. The first one, he cussed your mother out. The second one, he wants to do it again.
Your mother, I fucked her. I think I fucked her twice. No, come to think of it, I fucked her 7 times. No, really, I had to have bored to my ass to fuck your mother, because she was so fucking loose, you know? No, really, come to think of it, your mama, when we were in bed, she was wearing combat boots. That was a fact, because I fucked her, saw the combat boots, so your mother, she's a whore.
Ford Fairlane 2, the Awesome Rock'n Roll Junky. Bill,
Ooh,
that
that might even
sounds
be
like
better than the first
sounds like a real dirty movie.
one. Yeah.
Oh, fuck your mother though.
Hmm.
Okay, well we got that's the end of our
Movie corner.
movie corner. Phil and Dave and Phil's, Phil and Dave's movie corner for today.
was an awesome movie
Coming up with
corner.
our sponsors right now. Well, we have 2 special people in the audience that we want to bring up. They're Hans and Franz. Hans and Franz. Maybe you've seen them on Saturday Night Live. They're gonna play a couple songs, maybe 1, maybe 2. We'll see when we get there. This is Hans,
And that's Hans, and I'm Franz.
and he's Franz. We're here too.
Fuck
You
up on
on
69.
You suck.
So wow, wild movie reviews. Interesting. A little embarrassing, but hey, that's who I was when I was 19, and that's who my friend was when he was 20. So we're just silly and goofy, having a good old time. And as I'm going to play a little more of us being silly, but after I shared this on that I was going to be doing this podcast, I shared it on Instagram, and Tia, the woman that we made this tape for, said, David Meyer and Phillip Duke, you guys are the best. I don't know where I would be without your runs to Tucson. You always made me laugh and helped me to forget about life for a while. Taking the pictures in front of the Tucson 69 miles sign, my favorite was a parody of Warrant's Cherry Pie. Even now, when I hear that song, all I hear are you and Dave. Same with AC/DC for those about to rock. As silly as those were, those tapes made life bearable at the time. Love you both. So we did something right. And what she's talking about, I did not accidentally erase the audio of the Warrant song, which instead of cherry pie, we did pumpkin pie. And so it was pretty funny and silly. So such lyrics, with lyrics such as, she's my pumpkin pie, kick her in the mouth, make her cry, give the bitch some gold and poke her in the eye. Sweet pumpkin pie. Eat her with some sugar, eat her with some cream, eat her real quick before she turns green. Lick her to the left and lick her to the right. Think about a sucker and lick all night, yeah. Fucking in the living room, fucking in the kitchen, fucking where we want 'cause nobody's bitchin'. Ripped off her hair, hit her with a puck, got pissed off and made her suck. I hit her, you hit her, we all hit her with a board. Don't even touch her, she's a fucking whore. And then lick it off her thumbs, lick it off her thighs, lick it off her face until she cries. Got a lot of money, shove it up her ass. When she farts, I've got a lot of cash. Swinging in the hag's room, sitting on the blubber, swinging so hard, forgot to use my rubber. In walks her daddy, standing 5'2", saying, don't hurt me, I'll do anything for you. And then she's my pumpkin pie, put a bulge in your pocket when she walks by. Sucks so good, bring a tear to your eye, sweet pumpkin pie. So those are the lyrics for that. Then, the ones that I like, I'm sorry that there's no music to accompany me, is the For Those Who Fought Iraq. We did this to, of course, AC/DC, and the words are like this. All day and all night, we'll stand up and fight. Yeah, yeah. Send out lots of hatred for those who do bad deeds. We are the soldiers, we'll fight for your every need. All hail to the U.S., 'cause we've got the right of way. You send your legionnaires downtown because the world has something to say. For those who fought Iraq, we salute you, blah, blah, blah. We shot them down on the front line like firecrackers in the sky. The skies are bright with bombs tonight, but that's the way it was to be in this fight. We're just a battery for hire with our guns on fire, ready and willing to kill. Pick up your guns and load up your tanks for a 21-gun salute, which is basically their words that we just kept using. But we also wrote Sun City instead of Sin City by AC/DC. We also wrote Drunk All Night instead of by Slaughter instead of I forget what that one was. TNA instead of TNT by AC/DC. Dave wrote that one. If You Want Blondes, Dave wrote that one too, instead of AC/DC, If You Want Blood. Steven Spielberg instead of Mr. Feelgood, Dr. Feelgood. So Little Ronnie Howard is Secondhand Howard, films out in Hollywood. Got a 91 vet, thoughts of fame, and his films are good. O.P. Taylor's running a crew, but he's not doing E.T. Got a cozy little job, sells to his mom, packages videotapes. He's the one they don't call Spielberg. He makes movies that are all right. He's the one they don't call Spielberg. Blah, blah, blah. Actors on the corner always ignore. Nobody's getting paid. Richie's real tired. Crew's for hire. Kicking back in the shade. Got a little hideaway. Stays in bed all day, but at night he'll always be found. finding people to meet, sleeping in the street, call this Richie's town because of, the Happy Days. Chorus. He's gonna be your Monkey Shines. Dave added that. I don't like it because Monkey Shines was neither a Spielberg nor a Ron Howard movie. I would have liked like any other Ron Howard movie in that place. He's got one camera on his stand. It's not what you call a tripod stand. Got some film that's easily understood. He's the one they don't call Spielberg. He'll tell you he's the king of these LA streets, moving up to Hollywood. Come see his movie. It's real groovy because it's never broke the law. 2-time nominee, trying for an Oscar. Time to win it quick. Heard a rumor going round. Costner's going to win. Too bad for you, Dick. That was when Kevin Costner won Dance with Wolves. Let him film the show to see if he can. Some people want him in Japan. Let him introduce himself from an iceberg. He's the one they don't call Spielberg. So, sorry to bore you guys with all that, but that is our writing of music that I thought was good. I also, digging up these tapes, I found a lot of, we also wrote one called Clinton Beat the Bush instead of Beating Around the Bush by AC/DC. We're big AC/DC fans, as you can tell. But I found a story that we wrote of Air Phlave. I'm not going to bore you with it. But, there was Air America, and then we pretty much said, well, we're Air Phlave. So we wrote a story. I started writing a story, and we were switching on, off and on. And it's kind of funny, but interesting. But something else that I wanted to add to this podcast was some writing that I found that in 2003, I wanted to write a blog for my idea, me and Sergio. You remember Sergio, he used to be a co-host. Me and Sergio I told Sergio, I said, I want to write a blog, like Will Wheaton had written a blog every day and it got picked up and made into a book. I said, wouldn't that be interesting? But I have nothing to talk about. Sergio and I talked and he said, what if you did a blog like from a woman's point of view or something else? And I said, that's interesting because when Joe read a script that I wrote, he said that I wrote the woman part really well. So Sergio said, I said, maybe I should write from a female point of view. Then I had this story that I was working on, which was called Heresy, which is not really that story, ended up being something else. But it was about a person like Joan of Arc heard God's voice and said that she spoke to God. Did she really speak to God? Who knows? Joe would say no. I'm not one to judge, but I can judge, so I would say I don't know. But I don't think she's crazy, and all that stuff adds up to maybe she did. But I'm not here to judge. All I'm here to tell you is, so my idea for this story is this woman wrote her first blog entry after her husband died. And she writes this out just to get the thoughts out of her head, kind of like I did when my mom died. I wrote a whole blog about it in November. You guys will get to read it. So I wrote that. A guy ended up writing after I wrote this, and I'll tell you what he wrote after I read the first entry for the blog. January 4th, 2003. The funeral was today. Should I read it like a woman? The funeral was today. My heart is empty, and I can't cry anymore. Till death do us part. I never thought that would be what ended our marriage. If there is a God, why did he take Steve so young? I am in despair and very depressed. My world has been turned upside down. I am pissed, heartbroken, hurt. I am pissed, hurt, broken-hearted, and alone. They caught the son of a bitches that did it, but that doesn't fill my heart or my home. My friends tried to console me today, but it was no use. I didn't want to hear what they had to say. It was the same old, it'll be okay, or he's in a better place, or my all-time favorite, he would want you to move on. Bullshit, all capitals. They didn't know him like I did, so how did they know what he would want? I told them not to come over for a while. I think they believe that I will do something drastic like kill myself. Hell, they don't even know me that well. I would never, although the thought did cross my mind for a millisecond. Then, either right after this. This is either the same thing. I think it was the second one that I wrote. But I'll read the second one in a minute. After that first one, a guy wrote with all the lyrics for Calling All Angels. He wrote all the lyrics down, and he was like, it's okay, I'm very sorry. Like, just sent me those lyrics, like, to this woman who doesn't exist. And so I think I wrote him back and said thank you, but or maybe I didn't. I don't remember. My idea was then to wait 18 months or for a while until I wrote again. And it would all be like about this woman then she talks to God and she has to go to the Vatican to speak to the Pope to tell him some important business. I forget exactly what the thing was, but here's the second entry on June 19th, 2004. Now this is, 18 months. It's been about 18 months since my husband was murdered, and I wrote in this journal. I never believed in God, and after that I never would, or so I thought. I'm in the Vatican City in Rome, writing this on my laptop. I am here to see the Pope. I have to tell him of my visions. God has sent me on a mission, and I will not stop until it is complete. I am writing this in case all goes wrong and no one is left to carry out God's work. I know that I said I never believed in God, or for the most part I didn't, but I always had questions. Joan of Arc was a woman who always interested me. At 16, she was told by God to lead the French army to victory. Now, was she told by God, or was she just crazy? That was my question, and 18 months ago, I would have said that she was crazy. It couldn't have been God, because I needed to believe in something I could touch or see. Well, I'm writing this now to tell you that God exists. For those of you who already believe, believe more. For those who do not believe, start. Dun, dun, dun. Right? Important stuff. So that's I found a whole bunch of fucking writing in my I got a big bin here in my podcast studio, or my bedroom, my extra bedroom, and found all kinds of stuff. It was very funny. It's funny to find all that stuff and remember when you wrote it and what your thoughts were. So that was it cracks me up. But, okay, now let's play a little bit more of our show of Dave and I's from 91. This is a little bit of the end of it. I'm going to play the rest. There was supposed to be a drying up of Niagara Falls, or as he said, Angel Falls, but I think I cut the part off before I recorded that, but I remember hearing like he just poured water into another cup and we recorded something silly. So here's the rest of that tape, and I hope you all enjoyed. I'm going to come back after it, but I hope you enjoy it like I do. So here it is.
Well, Phil, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
A double shot from
Cool.
Hans and Franz.
Ooh.
Well, what should we play?
Hans and Franz had to leave, though.
Well,
They were in a hurry.
yeah, they were in a big,
Next,
big hurry.
we could play...
We could play a commercial. We could play a commercial on drugs. Yeah.
This is rock and roll.
And this is rock and roll when you're on drugs. Commercial's really convincing.
Yep, very convincing.
What else can we do? Hey, are we going to Niagara Falls or Victoria Falls?
Victoria.
Or Angels Falls in Venezuela?
Oh, okay.
We got a lot of money. We're traveling around a lot. Which one do you want to go to?
We can afford it.
Yeah.
We're even going to as soon as I...
The New Kids on the Block concert.
Oh, yeah. We're even going to...
Panama.
Panama.
Panama. Yep. We have a song, though, for Panama. Here it is. We learned it when we were down there.
Yeah.
And so...
when I said we're going down there, I meant we have been down there.
Yeah, we've been there, and we learned a song. It's a really cool song.
It's awesome.
It's bitchin'. Here it is. Good song, huh, Phil?
Yeah.
We learned that song when we were down in Panama.
Panama.
Right before Noriega and all that shit happened. We were down there before that. We just thought we'd share our experience. The other day, when we were in San Francisco, we were on the San Francisco Bridge.
Yeah.
We saw a jumper. And so we had to sing him a song.
He's making us Suicide.
Yeah, and it goes a little bit something like this.
Yeah.
Splash! I guess that tells you what happened to that guy.
He did jump.
Yeah, he did
He's
jump.
dead.
There's not much room left on this tape anymore. On this side of the tape.
Mm-mm.
We're gonna turn it over. But you'll
You'll
be
hear much more rock and roll.
rock and roll.
Rock and
I don't know
roll.
why they didn't call it roll and rock, but that's beside the point.
Hmm.
We're gonna get exclusive footage of Niagara Falls.
Yes.
The drying
tape
up.
footage.
Taped footage.
We would film it visually, but we don't have a video camera.
But we're gonna try and get one. Maybe. Right?
Yes.
Left. Exactly. Hold on. And now for our sponsor's commercial.
Is your ass just burning? Well, if it is, you probably have hemorrhoids. Do you have to scratch your ass in public and have other people watch? Or do you have to rub up against a real sharp edge of a desk to rub your ass the right way? If so, you have hemorrhoids, and you should use Preparation C from us here at 69 USUK. Hello? Yes. Oh, guess who it is?
Who is
It's
it?
the ex-president, Ronald Reagan.
Is it?
Here, let me put him on
the
the speakerphone.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Mr. President, can I put you on the speakerphone? He said sure.
Okay.
Okay. Well, like I was saying, Phil, if you could tell Dave, well, now that I'm on the speakerphone, Dave, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you guys and the listeners knew that I'm rocking with the Purple Block on 69 USUK.
Gee, thanks, Mr. President.
Good, all right.
Oh,
Mr.
whoa, big,
Ex-President.
big. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Well, do you have a request, Mr. Ex-President? Well, whatever Dave wants. Oh, that's what I say a lot. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for calling. Bye.
Click, click.
Click.
Well, we'll throw on a new tune that we haven't heard in a long time. Some Scorpions with Savage Amusement is gonna come your way now.
Rocking to you from 69.
You suck.
All right, so there you go. We had the President of the United... That's how important a show that was listened to by no one was listened to by the President, ex-President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, rest in peace. Whatever. Yeah, as you could tell by all of that tape, we were making it up on the fly. That's why some of those, or as a lot of you would say, I'm sure Joe will tell me, and so will Sean, a lot of those movie reviews were dumb. Some were just silly, but they were made up while we were sitting there, like, how about a movie thing? And he's like, you come up with it, because I'm the movie guy, and he's not. So I was writing down all this silly shit. He was writing down some, and that was what we did. What was funny now with that was, so I was doing 69 USUK with Dave, sorry. I was doing 69 USUK, and then Joe would hear a couple of the tapes, or maybe one. Maybe we'd be driving in the car, I'd tell him about it, and he was like, yeah, he listened to it, because he was like, you guys just talk. You don't play enough music. You need to play more music, be like a real radio station. And that was also probably why we played more music, because I told Dave what Joe said, so Dave played more music this time. Also to give Tia something to listen to, like I said. So Joe said, we should do a radio show. And I said, well, okay, I guess. So Joe had a better setup than we did at Dave's house. We just had a boombox, hit the record button, record our voice. We had a double cassette player, so then we could play the other cassette while recording the one. That's how he would put in jump or put in whatever. And Joe had a deck with two tapes or a tape player in it. And then we had a portable old school cassette player that, you know, your parents had with you could plug in the microphone. But we recorded from the bass unit and then played all the stuff. However we did it. We had a setup where Joe ran the microphone down over top of the recorder, and we would play the music or whatever there. One time we forgot, and we left the microphones on, and he was saying some things about my friend, which was kind of funny. But what was interesting with that, so Joe and I did 3 tapes. We had a good time. We had a little more planned out stuff, but it was, I don't know, Joe and I have been friends longer, so it just worked out better. We had a segment that I fucking fully remember because I listened to these tapes a couple times because they make me laugh. And unfortunately, I lost those tapes, so don't get excited. You can't listen to them. Joe's extremely happy that he doesn't have to listen to them. I lent him to his wife. I don't think his wife listened to him. Now I'm sure she's kicking herself that she wants to listen. But we had a segment where I was being the radio DJ. Joe went to get... This may not be funny to anybody. Joe went into the kitchen. We're in Joe's bedroom. We're teenagers, like I said. Joe goes into his bedroom to get some tea to bring us back, like a pitcher of tea and some glasses. And he comes back and he hears me go, "Hello, yes, I have a guest here." And so Joe comes running in thinking that he's got to be my co-host. And he's running in to make it. And he trips a little bit and spills a lot of the tea. And I was, right before he gets there, though, I go into like, yes, like that kind of voice. And Joe starts laughing. And then we had Axl Rose came in and was singing a song. We had this feedback sound that we would play when I would put the microphone close to the speaker so the feedback would happen. So we were like, hey, plug in that guitar over there, Iggy. And then, wow. And it was hilarious. Then Joe said, let's go buy some fucking sound effects. So we went and bought a tape, or Joe bought a CD, or I think it was a tape, of course. Bought a tape of sound effects. So then we would go to a restaurant where people are dining, and we would be sitting there and had this whole thing. It was just great. And we did 3 different ones of them. The first one was like fresh. It was cool. And we played music, and we just had funny segments. Had one of the manager of us was walking up to the thing. We looked out the window. He got shot, and then we had to play a song. It was so great. Anyway, it was good stuff. Sorry. Thank you for letting me revisit that in my head. So, unfortunately, I put those tapes, had them saved in a bag with a video project that I had from high school that I had to do like a fake commercial. So we did Burger Dukes, which is my last name, Burger Dukes. So I had that, and it was silly. So that whole bag, I also put some cords in it. So one day I was like, I don't need these cords. And I threw the bag away. And I didn't check the bag. All I could feel was the cords. Threw the bag in the trash. And that had 3 tapes of Joe and I's radio station was 66.6 HELL. Get it? And then I had that video, and I don't know if on that video, I also had a second video of Dave and I did 69 USUK, the movie. We had made like just recordings around town and fake conversations with people after an earthquake, fake earthquake, just silly shit. So I lost all that, but I do have these tapes, so that's why this was important to me to share that. Tried to reach out to Dave to have him on the show today. He had dropped off of Facebook. So I was checking why he hasn't responded. And when I looked on Facebook, it said disconnecting in 3, 2, 1, and it was it. So that was in September of last year. So it's like, oh, okay. So I got to find his number or something and text him and let him know that he can come on the show and or listen to the podcast now and hear our old stuff. So anyway, like I said, found a lot of my writing, so I want to read that on the show maybe next time. I really want to hear what Sean says about this shit from when I was 19 years old. That was right before Sergio met me. Right before Sergio and Sean met me. So they met me in like 94 and 93 and 94, and that was 91. So, I was still silly, but maybe a little more mature. As you can tell, as I didn't say, Dave was a smart one out of us. So he's book smart and just, almost a genius next to me. As you can tell, like he gets embarrassed because he said, oh no, I mean Angel Falls instead of whatever. And I'm just like, whatever. I didn't learn that waterfall in Venezuela until I looked it up later. I was like, that's beautiful. Where's that at? And found out. Dave already knew that when he was 20. So I didn't find out till I was maybe 30. So anyway, that's the show. I want to also let you know, everybody, because this was kind of weird. I always talk about, wanting to, I do the podcast because I like it, because I like doing it. It's fun and all that. But what had happened last episode when Sean and I did the chopping mall, I had read him the email that I had gotten from a guy named Chris Partridge, who wrote us that he was a fan and that he listened to the show and it was pretty funny. So I wrote him and I said, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy my stories. I said, we have fun doing the podcast all the time. So then after, I just happened to read that on the last show, the email from him to Sean. Sean was like, wow, a real email, like not a made up one from his mom about sex or from Joe's mom about sex. So now he wrote and he said, hi, Phillip, it's Chris. I've sent a couple messages before about the show, messages. Keep up the good work. He said, anyway, my company is sending me for a conference to Chandler, Arizona, June 2nd through the 5th. They usually send a few of us, so the days are busy, but this time I'm traveling alone and will have some free time. If it's not too weird, and then in parentheses, and I promise I'm not a stalker or weirdo, and then parentheses, I'd like to buy you and your wife dinner one night, parentheses again, or maybe you and some of the other guys on the show. End of parentheses. The podcast conversations are so much like the ones I had with my friends. And then parentheses. I'm about your age and grew up in Las Vegas. So a lot of the topics are socially relevant for me. He said, and you guys are just funny. I think it would be a nice conversation. He said, I'm staying at the Sheraton Grand at Wild Horse Pass in Chandler, which appears to be just a few miles from the Phoenix airport. What do you think, Chris? So I wrote him back, and I said the following. Hang on. Whoops, that's the wrong one. I said, hang on, I'm working on it. It's weird. I said, hey, Chris, it's weird because the last episode of the podcast, I read your first email. Sean was my co-host at the time. Usually I make up some of the emails. Behind the curtain. But usually make up some of the emails, and Sean was surprised that we actually got a real email. Laugh out loud. Tonight I was going through all my emails, work, personal, and podcast. That's when I saw the recent email. I will admit that I was like, that's kind of weird, and maybe he wants to sell me something. But then I also thought that it couldn't hurt. Laugh out loud. So yeah, we could probably meet closer to Wild Horse Pass, like in the Chandler area. My wife won't be able to make it because she is finishing up nursing school and working, so she's busy. I am going to try and get Sean to go if he is available. I was thinking June 4th would be good because Sean and I are off on that day. Sorry it took so long for me to respond. So yes, we will keep in touch, and I will put a reminder in my calendar. Thanks. He wrote, hi, Phillip. June 4th sounds great. I'm sure I could find something to sell you! Exclamation point. Looking forward to June 4th. And then I wrote him back and said, I'm looking forward to it too. So my wife, of course, said, that's what you've always wanted, a fan of your podcast. And now you have one fan of your podcast. I said, oh, you're funny. So that's what's going on. So that'll be June 4th. I will, of course, tell you all how that goes on. If there's any podcasters out there listening, write me an email. Tell me what you guys think. The email is it's kind of a funny podcast @gmail.com. Or you can go to the Facebook page under facebook.com/it's kind of a funny podcast. Or you can go to Twitter under it's kind of a funny pod. And what else is there? And then there's iTunes, of course, where this podcast is. And you can subscribe to this one or the older one. So I hope you all enjoyed my walk down memory lane from what? That was 91, and now it's 2018. So that was 01, 11. So that was 27 years ago. So wow. Okay, so I'm 46 now. I really wish I could find those Joe tapes, but I can't. But to let you guys know what's coming up on the next show, it's going to be a deep dive into Ready Player One. I'm on the audiobook right now. It is so up my alley. If none of you have read the book or listened to the book, of course I've heard the movie is different than the book, so don't go by that. Nobody judge it that way. But I heard the movie is good by itself from a person who hadn't seen it. On Screen Junkies, I heard that on YouTube. And a guy who had read the book and saw the movie and still said there was stuff that wasn't in it, but he still liked it. He did say some things that weren't there were some of the little things like that they do. Like it's full of pop culture. I don't even, oh my God, they bring up so many little things, like just, oh, so great. It's like the member berries on South Park, but it's, but anyway, there's things where they have to mention it to the audience because not everybody's a nerd and will understand who Max Rockatansky is or what, say Buckaroo Banzai is or whatever. So it's great. So this next time, Sean's taking notes. I have my notes. I'm finishing up with the second part of the book. Then we're going to go see the movie on Sunday. Then we're going to record the podcast on Monday, and that'll be the next podcast up in 2 weeks. So it's going to be a good one. And then after that, I'm going to do a show with Joe. Joe will be back. So yay. Yay, Joe. And so he'll be back, and I'm sure he'll give me shit over this podcast. So thank you for listening, and please subscribe, and please like, and whatever. And we're also on YouTube under It's Kind of Funny Podcast. There's some videos there. So thank you, and have a good one. And as we said last time, which as you heard, we did the, Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure 3. Be excellent to each other. Thank you.
Can you really deep throat balloons? Do pregnant strippers make us swoon? What makes Joe masturbate? Is Sergio really straight? Oh, girl, it's kind of a funny podcast. It ain't for the money podcast. It's kind of a funny podcast. So turn it up on a podcast. Digging through the garbage just to find the next topic. Oh, yeah.